There is a passage in the Bible that describes something completely impossible according to the laws of physics. A moment when the sun stopped in the sky. Not symbolically, not poetically, but literally. This event is recorded in the book of Joshua, and the text clearly states that the day was extended in a way that had never happened before, and never happened again. Today, we are going to analyze this moment from 3 perspectives: biblical, historical, and theological. No exaggeration, no sensationalism. Only the text itself. If you enjoy deep and serious biblical content, consider subscribing to the channel, because here we don't treat scripture superficially. The book of Joshua is part of the historical books of the Old Testament. According to Jewish tradition, it was written by Joshua himself, or by scribes closely connected to him. The events take place during Israel's entrance into the Promised Land. This was a period of real military campaigns, real geographical locations, and real political alliances between Canaanite kings. In other words, this is not a symbolic or mystical book. It is a historical narrative. And that matters, because the event we are about to analyze happens in the middle of an actual battle. Hosea chapter 10 tells us that 5 Amorite kings formed an alliance against Israel. During the battle, Joshua speaks openly before the people and calls upon the Lord. He says, "Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and moon over the valley of Egypt." The text then states that the sun stopped and the moon delayed until the nation of Israel took vengeance on its enemies. And then comes one of the most striking verses in the entire Bible. There's been no day like it before or since, when the Lord listened to the voice of a man. Notice something extremely important here. Joshua does not command the sun directly. He speaks to God. The miracle is not Joshua's authority over nature. The miracle is God's response. Now, this is where the problem begins. If the sun literally stopped in the sky, that would imply that the earth stopped rotating. And if that happened, the physical consequences would be catastrophic. So the question is obvious. What exactly is the Bible saying here? Either we misunderstand science, or we misunderstand the text. Throughout history, theologians and scholars have proposed different interpretations. The first is the literal interpretation. In this view, God supernaturally suspended the natural laws of the universe. If God created the laws of physics, then he is not bound by them. From this perspective, the event was a direct and absolute miracle. The second interpretation is what scholars call phenomenological language. This means the Bible is describing the event from the human point of view. Justus, we say the sun rises and the sun sets, even though we know the earth is rotating. From the perspective of the people on the battlefield, the day simply did not end. The third interpretation suggests an extraordinary natural phenomenon, possibly a rare atmospheric event, a refraction of light, or a unique cosmic condition that caused the daylight to last much longer than normal. It's important to say this clearly. The Bible does not explain the mechanism. It only records the result. Now here's a detail that almost no one notices. Hosea chapter 10 mentions another book. It says, "Is this not written in the book of Joshua?" This tells us something very important. The Bible itself references other ancient texts. Just like the book of Enoch, which is mentioned in the New Testament. There were writings that existed but did not survive through history. This does not weaken the Bible. It actually strengthens its historical credibility. So why is this passage so important? Because it shows a God who intervenes in human history. A God who responds in the middle of conflict. Joshua did not ask for a sign. He asked for time. And God answered. It is also important to understand what this text does not say. It does not explain how the sun stopped. It does not reject reason or science. And it does not ask us to abandon logic. It simply states that God responded. The focus of this story is not the sun. It is faith. Joshua trusted completely in the mission he had been given. Sometimes, the greatest miracle is not changing the sky, but sustaining a purpose. The day the sun stood still is not an invitation to reject science. It is an invitation to humility before the text. If you want to continue exploring the deepest and most mysterious passages of the Bible, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because this story does not end here.